Hi, Benjamin from Paris. We got some friend of mine from a place in Paris called Oberkampf used to do some kind of what we call urban hacking. I remember that when you show us the swinging in the urban commute. But we got a problem in France is that when you do stuff like that, you often got caught by police or whatsoever. For example, we got a problem when we claim, not loudly, I promise, poems in the public park, and we had about 4 minutes before we got caught and put out of the park. So do you have some quick hint on how we can circumvent or find a way to steal urban hacking?
Well, I mean, you want, you know, if the culture in is Paris, you said, or
yeah.
Okay, Paris or in France is that sort of repressive, and if you, I mean, I would imagine you'd want to engage your community and try and get them to, you know, say to the authorities that this is something that they want to, you know, celebrate and allow. You may have to craft your actions to be more subtle or to be more so clearly harmless and so clearly playful, and so like take into account who the audience is. Take into account who, you know, ignore for a second the police, you know, because they're just agents of the state doing what they're doing, and they're sort of mindless. They're granted power by the action or inaction of the people. So if you want to enjoy greater freedom, you have to get a large number of, you know, the people in your community to support what you're doing. So you can't just go into a place and do an action that without taking into consideration who lives there and how they're going to respond to it, which is another reason why I think that shock and confrontation is so alienating, and it's not going to win you any enemies. And if it has any danger of, you know, to the state will very quickly extinguish it, and you'll have no allies when they come to shut you down. But if you can craft something that the people in that community respond positively to, that they even participate in, you know, families come to Burning Man. And now Burning Man has spawned a network of regional events that carry some of those properties of the Burning Man culture and the Burning Man experience out to other locations. In places, I mean, the barriers to entry of going to Burning Man, for those of you who don't know, Burning Man is a festival that takes place in the desert in the middle of Nevada. So it's, you know, it's 6 hours from San Francisco, but we have people coming from all over the world, but you have to go to the middle of a desert and bring everything that you need to survive for 1 week in the desert. That's a lot of, you know, it's a very high barrier to entry. So they're starting to take their culture out into local communities. And the way that they're propagating this culture is very, very thoughtful and very conscious and intentional. Actually, I think this might be a better answer to your question. What they're doing is they're identifying certain components of the larger culture of Burning Man, if one can be said to exist, and spreading those out into the culture in ways that are going to be very well responded to. So for example, several years ago, the theme of the Burning Man event was the Green Man. It was sustainable energy. And so they worked with solar providers to engineer a solar power grid that powered all the lights for the man itself. So all the neon and other things in the area around the man were powered by a solar array that they built themselves using donated parts and some, anyway. The processes that they used to create that, they then approached a local community in a nearby town in Nevada, a very poor town, called Wadsworth, one of the towns that Burning Man attendees drive through to get to the event. And they said, look, we've figured this out. We now know between this supplier who will supply us these things at cost and this government program that will, you know, give you cash for solar panel installs, and our volunteer Burning Man community labor, we can give you a solar panel installation for your high school for nothing. You know, would you like that? And so they went and did it. And they did this test solar power installation that's permanent, that they are keeping, that now powers most of the power for that local high school. And so instead of sort of trying to grow out the culture, the aspects of the culture that are like, hey, we're taking drugs and getting naked and partying in the desert, which isn't going to propagate very well, they take aspects, you know, or, you know, the people for whom that respond to that are already going to Burning Man. If you want the people outside of Burning Man who haven't yet experienced the community to value you, you have to propagate something that they're going to see value in. And that they're going to respond positively to. So now, all of a sudden, the citizens of Wadsworth are huge, not uniformly, but a majority of them are really like, oh, Burning Man, they came and gave solar power to our children. So, you may have to choose what your actions are. They don't need necessarily always be, even art, even playful art actions like Bart swings may be seen as confrontational. So what are ways that the community that you're a part of, what can you propagate to your community that they're going to value and embrace, and then think more highly of you, so that when you do something that the police are going to try and shut down, you have community support that says, no, these are part of our community. You can't do that to them. We appreciate what they're doing and how they're contributing. So there's an idea. Oh.
Okay, thank you. We will try it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Let's try solar power in France, and then swings. Yes.
I think we're 15 minutes overdue. Yay. Okay. Thank you, Aaron. You forgot our shameless plug.
Oh, yes. Thank you. We are actually running on Sylvester, on New Year's Eve. We are running a free street game called Journey to the End of the Year. You should all come to it. It's totally fun. This is an open source psychogeographical game. It's a chase, it's a game of tag, played in the city streets. So to play, meet at Alexanderplatz at the steps of the TV tower at 1900 at 7 o'clock on the 31st, so that's Thursday. And the website is totheendofthenight.com. That's T-O-T-H-E, and totheendofthenight.com. There are flyers all over the Congress, but you should really consider coming to it if you're interested in any of these sorts of things. It's a fun context hack. If you live in Berlin and are familiar with the city, playing this game is a really wonderful way to experience the city through a different perceptual lens and to shift your own relationship with your landscape. And if you're unfamiliar with Berlin, it's a really great adventure to come to a city that you don't know and then be asked to navigate a series of checkpoints on a map while not being caught by people trying to chase you down. So it's a lot of fun. It starts, like I said, at 1900 hours, and it's going to be over by 22:30, 2300. There's a big party at the end, but if you have other plans for yourself for Sylvester, it will be over in time for you to go. And Valerie has flyers right there. So if anyone wants a flyer with information about the game, go see Valerie right back there. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.